You are a domesticated human trapped in a system. You've been exploited in milk just like the animals in factory farming. Sounds harsh, right? But it's reality. And yes, the comparison is accurate because in both systems, de-individualization takes place. Both animals in factory farming and humans in such systems are treated primarily according to usefulness and efficiency, not as sentient individual beings. However, I would never presume to say that we humans in this self-created inhumane system suffer just as much as the animals in factory farming. This comparison is a metaphorical exaggeration. The suffering of the animals is far more extreme and their situation is hopeless. By the way, are you already vegan? Have you ever thought about it? Or maybe even tried it? Why not? You should, because the animals are sentient individuals who, just like you, do not want to be tortured and exploited. Just think about it. I can help you. 10 years vegan and countless clients whom I have helped to perfect their vegan journey. Today, we are talking about fatigue and burnout. Now, you are surely asking yourself what this has to do with the comparison I just made. Farmed humans, farmed animals. Where's the link? I don't know. Why are you looking at me? Wait, I got it in a moment. Yes, it's about the fact that as an exploited living being, you are exposed to similar chronic stress and no regeneration. I have made videos on stress. Watch them, they will save your life. In short, you are flooded with stimuli, but cannot compensate them. So things just go further and further downhill. In this video, I will explain to you what the causes are for chronic fatigue and your burnout. But first, the most important causes nowadays for fatigue and burnout are trauma, toxin exposure, nutrient deficiencies, and lack of movement. Okay, and how do these things arise and how do they lead to fatigue and burnout? I don't understand. Hey, slow down, my friend. Let's start with trauma. Trauma is not only the event itself, but the overwhelm of the nervous system in dealing with this event. The nervous system stores the overload when fight-flight was not possible. It remains in a survival mode. Freeze, chronic tension, hypervigilance. Trauma acts like a program that keeps the body constantly in a state of alarm. This has several consequences. Traumatized people often have a chronic activation of the stress axis, HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenals. This leads to permanently elevated cortisol and adrenaline levels, which in turn lead to sleep disturbances, loss of energy, exhaustion. Even when there is no danger, the nervous system runs in survival mode. Brain and body consume more energy, leaving fewer resources for regeneration, concentration, and everyday life. In case of overload, the nervous system can go into freeze shutdown. One feels cut off, empty, without energy. This reaction often looks like burnout, but it is a protective mechanism of the body. Chronic stress and trauma lead to hormonal imbalance, for example, thyroid or sex hormones. This results in elevated inflammatory markers, silent inflammation, which intensifies fatigue and disease symptoms. Trauma can overactivate the amygdala, danger sensor, and downregulate the prefrontal cortex, logical thinking, self-control. This creates constant inner restlessness, brooding, concentration problems, which lead to chronic exhaustion. Let's move on. Toxins. Our body is confronted daily with endogenous, internal, and exogenous, external toxins. When the load becomes too high or detoxification does not function, or both, these accumulate. Exactly what is currently going on in the human world. There are external toxin sources such as environmental toxins, nutrition, medication, cosmetics, household, clothing, and. There is no end to them. And the worst thing, Humans created them. And then there are the internal ones, such as toxins from gut dysbiosis, chronic inflammations releasing metabolic toxins, or also oxidative stress, leading to cell and DNA damage through free radicals. And it gets even more problematic when the main detoxification organs are overloaded and not functioning optimally, which applies to many people. Toxins also lead to fatigue and burnout. But how? Very simple. Many toxins, for example, heavy metals, pesticides, mold toxins, directly inhibit the mitochondria, the energy power plants of the cells. Less ATP leads to less energy and to chronic tiredness. To break down toxins, the body needs B vitamins, glutathione, magnesium, zinc, selenium, and of course many more. Constant exposure means that the stores empty, which in turn intensifies the exhaustion. Toxins trigger the immune system, which leads to silent chronic inflammation. Inflammation represents a high energy burden and causes flu-like fatigue symptoms. The liver also breaks down hormones. If it is overloaded by toxins, this leads to hormone disorders like thyroid, stress hormones, sex hormones. The consequences: lack of drive, burnout like exhaustion, mood swings. Many toxins, for example, solvents, heavy metals, act directly on the nervous system, which can lead to brain fog, concentration weakness, sleep disturbances, depressive moods. Constant toxin exposure acts like chronic stress whereby the adrenals become exhausted. Adrenal exhaustion is a central mechanism of burnout. Next, I already hinted at it. Let's continue with nutrient deficiencies. Nutrient deficiencies mean that building blocks are missing in energy and stress systems. Without them, body and brain cannot function properly, which results in exhaustion, concentration problems, and burnout. Deficiencies are caused by chronic stress, which consumes up more magnesium, vitamin C, and B vitamins. Constant stress empties the stores more quickly. By digestive and absorption problems, through intestinal diseases and medication. By bad lifestyle, such as not enough sun, which leads to vitamin D deficiency. Alcohol, smoking, medication strongly increase nutrient depletion, since these are heavy toxins that must be neutralized and detoxified. Why should this then lead to fatigue syndrome and burnout? Let me explain. Energy production is blocked because important nutrients like iron, B vitamins, magnesium, Q10 are missing. These are necessary to produce ATP in the cells, which means less energy, more tiredness. Neurotransmitters are disturbed. B6, B12, folic acid, magnesium are needed for serotonin, dopamine, GABA. A deficiency leads to mood swings, inner unrest, sleep problems. The hormone system is also dependent on nutrients and correspondingly goes out of balance when certain nutrients are missing. For example, vitamin D, zinc, selenium, iodine are important for thyroid and stress hormones. Deficiency promotes lack of drive, burnout-like symptoms, and of course the immune system is also affected. Example, vitamin C, E, zinc, selenium are among others antioxidants. If these are missing, it leads to silent inflammation, chronic tiredness. Okay, Iggy, I understand that, but how is lack of movement supposed to cause fatigue and burnout? Too much exercise causes stress, right? If I'm burned out, I have to rest, right? You lazy bastard. Without movement and exercise, you cannot relax and come to rest. You need exercise like the air you breathe. A deficiency in movement and exercise acts in the body similarly exhausting as a nutrient deficiency because it directly affects energy metabolism, hormone balance, and stress regulation. Exercise is training for the mitochondria. Through sports, you create more and more efficient mitochondria. Without it, mitochondria break down. Energy production decreases and exhaustion occurs more quickly. Exercise reduces cortisol levels. It promotes the release of endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine, and giving you better mood and more energy. Exercise improves circulation and oxygen transport. A lack of movement means your cells and tissues don't get enough oxygen and nutrients, and you are tired even you have slept enough. Exercise improves glucose uptake into the cells, independent of insulin. Lack of exercise leads to blood sugar fluctuations, energy slumps, cravings, tiredness. Regular exercise strengthens the immune system. Lack of movement increases silent inflammation, which is massively connected with burnout and fatigue. Sport increases the proportion of deep sleep, thus better regeneration. Muscles are a depot for glucose, glycogen, and regulate metabolism, meaning more energy reserves. And now what, Iggy? What should I do with this useless knowledge? Useless, you say? Now, you know what the problems and the causes are, and now you can address them specifically. Ah, right. You have no idea how to do that. Don't worry, I got you. We'll get into that in the next video. So absolutely, follow for more.